All right, I think we are live. Seems like it. Welcome back to the Tea Curious live stream. Woohoo! It's so nice to be back. I'm really excited. I don't think that it's hitting me yet that we're back. And number one, I'm really grateful to be able to talk to you again, whether it's live right now or on a replay. Yeah, thank you. Um, I'm really full of gratefulness and thankfulness and excitement. And maybe if you've seen like all my comments over the last couple of days coming back, you're like, is Ree really excited to see everyone, like every single person? And I really am, like every single one of you. I am really happy to be back. I hope that you guys have been well. You specifically, you. It's been a hard year, hard couple of years for everyone. So that we can come back and have tea again is just a wonderful blessing. So yeah, bear with me while I like get back into like my groove, but we'll have fun. We're talking about the purge today. The purge is our annual like challenge where we drink down the teas we don't really want anymore, figure out what to do with them. But yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. Let me say hi to our friends. Ronan, it's been so long. Azure Lane, Steven, Leaves in Hot Water, this Steven, Esther, Pasadena Festival, Gongfuma, Jan. So nice to see you guys. Welcome back. I hope that you guys have kind of picked out a tea that you're gonna drink down. Yeah, because today's our first live back, but we also have a mission today. We have to figure out what to do with our excess, unwanted, nasty old, just not for us anymore teas. And figuring out how we can do that respectfully but also constructively. And by constructively, I mean like seriously. I don't want to look at this tea again next year because we were here last year, right? And I still have teas from last year that are like, why are you still here in my life? You know what I mean? So yeah, let us know if you're drinking anything today. We will be drinking a tea that I snatched out of my stash. Fam, I have a problem with drinking teas that are in small quantities. That is my big problem. And I think if you are trying to destash or get rid of excess, unwanted, just teas that don't serve you anymore, just ask what it is that causes you to do that. Why do you hang on to tea that you don't like? Or why do you buy tea that you don't necessarily want later on? And try to do this without blaming yourself. Yeah, like it's okay to take personal responsibility for like your habits and your patterns, but also don't rag on yourself. It's not useful, It's something I'm trying to learn. And why I can breathe a little bit more freely these days, So my pattern, my funny quirk is that if I have small amounts of a tea, and it's a specialty, and there's sentimental value with that tea, it's never gonna get drunk, especially if I'm trying to study that specific type. So this here is Kong Mountain's Fruity Rogueway. It's kind of blurry. It's okay, but I got this sample as part of a. Oh yeah, we bought a tea tray for a challenge that we gave away during Chashi Challenge last year, and this sample came in. So I didn't even sign up for it. So it's interesting, Like you think that it's your fault for accumulating tea, but this actually wasn't something I signed up for. I bought the tray for a purpose to give to someone else for a challenge, but I got the sample that never got used. So it's coming to life today because I plucked it out of my stash. And honestly, when I picked it up 5 minutes ago, I was like, my first instinct was, I don't want to drink you because I only have 8 grams of you. And I'm trying to study Rogueway more, okay? And then I'm like, okay, I think it's not the perfect time. Therefore, knowing me myself, you gotta drink it right now. So here it is today. It will see the light of day today when, honestly, I think it would have taken, God knows when. When is the perfect time to drink Kong Mountain Fruity Rogueway that I didn't order, So let's let it go. And yeah, let us know what you guys are drinking. What did you snatch out for your stash? And then if anyone would like to share what their habits are, what causes you to accumulate tea that you don't like. A couple examples of stuff I think about are like, I know people who like to go to the grocery store, and if you see like a cool, like, wow, like, I don't know, Rishi tea is doing like oolong now. I want to try that out. And then you buy it because you're at the grocery store and tea excites you. So then you come back with it, right? Another one is tongs and cakes. This is not something that I suffer, but I know a lot of friends who do, where they're like, I don't want this tea to go away. This 2018 impression, left an impression on me. I never want to let it go. So tong it, 7 cakes. Cool. It ages, no problem, right? And that's totally normal too. I mean, like, we all have reasons why we have these patterns. Just, think about what they are for you. And yeah, let's have fun with them. So yeah, let's say hi to our friends who are coming in again. Soup Fadas, nice to see you. Hannah, Joseph, Michael, Hidestock, Marco, Chris, and Entrete. Welcome. It's so nice to see you guys again. And yeah, again, super nice to be back. It's been quite a roller coaster of a year, but so nice to be able to come back to Tea Friends, So thank you for being that safe harbor for us to come back to. Yeah, like I'm on a mission for like the purge and like the stuff we want to talk about today, but I'm also like I don't know where to put my gratitude and my thankfulness. So I'm just splurting it all over Instagram and splurting it all over Steven. On our off time. Like, can you believe that XYZ said this to me? It's so nice of them to think about us. So yeah. In my cup right now is some pour tea from yesterday. Let's drink that down.
Oh,
None for you. That's Jade Leaves from Denong. And yeah, let us get this little guy out of the way. So this is my nemesis. Tiny samples, 8 grams. And then even before the stream, I said, Steven, should I only use 4 grams of the tea? And I think it is because we tend to not use that much tea anyway. But Steven said, just use the whole thing. Just go for it. And I'm like, yeah. If you struggle with any kind of like hanging on to teas and stuff like that, I think it is good to just consciously go against what your pattern is, even if it doesn't feel right, just to see if you can kind of break the chain like a little bit, Yeah. So Esther says that she has this old Alishan looking at her. My teas also get anthropomorphized for me. Like, they also become human in my mind when I look at them. They're like, drink us. Because we care about our teas, right? We don't want them to wait on us. But sometimes it's just not realistic. Hannah says she has a green tea from like 2 years ago that I didn't drink down during last year's drink down. Yeah, I feel that. So, yeah. So, Steven, I said that my problem is like tiny samples. What do you think your problem is?
I don't know. I mean, the perfect occasion, like waiting for the right time to drink teas, probably.
Yeah, perfect occasion, like special occasion waiting. And then we are trying out our fancy little like camera setup today. So if something goes wrong, please let us know. But like, yeah, Steven set all of these up yesterday and I got like a mic here and I got a camera there and like a light there. And it's like all stuff that we got from like filming like the water course and stuff. And we're like, let's see if we can like fancy it up on like the stream today. So let us know if it shows up weird or wonky or if you like it, And then what I really like about, these kind of practices, like the purge is all about using unwanted tea or forgotten tea. It also takes me out of my patterns of what teaware I like to use. So for example, this is a pot that I actually had made custom made for me from Tanikawa Jin. Toru from Artistic Nippon was really nice enough to like help me get this custom made for me. But do I use it as much as I'd like to? To be honest, I don't, I get comfortable with my gaiwan. Nothing wrong with being comfortable with your gaiwan. But when we break some of these patterns that we have, like the special occasion pattern and the I don't want to drink this tiny sample pattern, I, need to buy a tong of a pour, or I'm not committed enough, or I'm scared of like, not having this tea anymore. If you can break the pattern, I feel like it extends out to other things also, So, yeah, breaking patterns is one of my favorite things. What am I doing? I'm subconsciously all of it. Oh my gosh! So, thank you to Kong Mountain Tea for this sample. Yeah, it's not about like ragging on like vendors for giving out samples. It's not anything like that. Like, if it helps you to be like ragging on someone for like a tiny bit, maybe do it for like 2 seconds, and then let's be grateful for the tea and laugh about the predicament and just kind of move on, you know? Hannah says special sample teas, or if someone brews a tea for me and it's so good that I buy some, but then when I brew it, it's not as good. Or I still have a lot of stuff from my when my tea journey began. I totally agree with you, Hannah. Special samples. When someone brews a tea for me, it becomes a very sentimental tea, and I'm quite an emotive, kind of like sentimental person. So it's very difficult for me to let go of those teas, especially gifts from friends. Oh my gosh, gifts from friends. Oh man, like if someone's like, Ree, like there's this 1990 pour from like my teacher that I want you to have, that thing is never good. It's never gonna get drunk. um, and I also still have a lot of tea from like the beginning of my tea journey, like a lot. Like I still have some like 2010, 2011 stuff somewhere. Deep breaths, you know. And yeah, I like being honest about it, you know, like do I feel nervous about people judging me? Yeah, I do. I do feel nervous about people being like, "Wow, you must have so much money to spend on tea that you have excess tea." Not true. Or you must be not being mindful about your spending. Not true. You know, like I can fit all my clothes into like a suitcase, right? Um, you don't care about your tea. Not true, right? Um, so it's more about like what are the uncontrolled factors we have that are leading us to keep these teas, you know? And it's time, we're busy, we're scared of losing a special memory, right? I think for a lot of us, tea is emotional. So when you have a drink down a tea that represents that moment when Hannah gifted me that tea after that midnight session, or like my friend from that music festival found me and was like, here's this aged oolong that I thought about you to give you. It's hard for me to let go of that feeling. And some of these teas from the beginning of my tea journey, I have some teas from like tea from Taiwan and like tea masters I never opened. It's like 2011 Baozong, you know? Like Forest Baozong Subtropical. If you look on Tea Master's site, that's a sample he still has. Mine's from 2011. That's like vintage. Never opened it because it represents a time in my tea life that I wanna keep, you know? So yeah. For those of you joining us, we're going straight into like talking about the purge and like again the teas that we're trying to like destash. Um yeah, if you are just joining us, let us know if you struggle with, you know, having excess tea and what that looks like for you. Is it tiny samples? Is it cakes? Is it gifted tea? It could even be like, you know, the cheesy like tea sampler sets that our friends who are not tea drinkers give us. Much love, friends who are not tea drinkers, right? They're like, wow, like I saw this tea thing at like Costco and I got it for you. And you're like, oh my God, like it's more to add to my stash. Yeah, let us know what it is that you're dealing with in your stash that you kind of want to let go. It helps me, you know that I'm not alone in dealing with this. And yeah, I want to also talk about strategies that we can trade together to like how do we get rid of this stuff, you know, respectfully and in an eco-friendly way, and but actually do it. You know, like actually do it.
We're not just talking about it.
We're not just talking about it, yeah. It's a process, but yeah. Ooh, see? One sip of that, and I'm so happy that we opened that tea up because this tea is a tea that really truly this is tea, tiny sample, my Achilles heel. We would have never drunk this. Just honest to God, I would not have drunk this.
We're always reaching for other teas.
Yeah, and I didn't order it. Again, like this is a sample that came for a challenge gift that I was doing on the Discord. So, here you go. And now it gets to see the light of day, you know, and
it's good.
it's good. It's delicious.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Not always the case for purge teas.
Yeah, right, right. And then everything we do is tied into like tea practice, right? Like I have habits. There are teas I drink every day. But now that I am willing to go random and be like, let's just drink this random ass sample that I never asked for, it's new. I feel like this is very new to me. I feel very Yeah, like this is really interesting because I don't know this tea. It's not a tea I know very well. Yeah. So Gabby says that she has a lot of tea from tea swaps. Tea swaps another one, especially when you swap with someone and they give you a little bit extra, which we're always grateful for people giving us tea, but also what do we do with it? You know, both things can be true. Grateful for the tea, but what do we do when there's too much of it? Um, Gong Fuma says old teas are fun to experiment with. That's the best way not to waste it. Yeah. Find ways to like play around with the tea a little bit more. um, I like to experiment with old teas too. I think that's something I want to do is to like get a bunch of like my old teas and do like a bowl brew the way that we used to do, you know? Like side by sides of all my old Taiwanese samples, a lot of old Taiwanese samples, all my pour, all of my yancha. Just put it all out and then like do a tasting with it, you know? That's a cool way to get like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different teas out of the way. Gong Fu Ma, what experiments do you do with your old teas? I imagine you can do culinary experiments too. Soda stream if you have one, right? Like if you're artistic, dye something. My friend Gina, who she was the one who got the tray that this fruity rogue came with for Secret Santa. Oh, it's supposed to be a secret for an undisclosed Christmas related holiday we host on the Discord. She gifted me this tea cloth, which is dyed with tea, and I'm like, holy crap! I can't believe she did that. I'm not very crafty, but if you are, absolutely do it. And I didn't even do this on purpose. It just so happened. Um, she dyed this with tea. I think it's Earl Grey she used, and like maybe like some other black tea. I forgot. It's in the note that she gave us. But this is tea dyed, and it's amazing, and I love it. We've been using this mat since the undisclosed Christmas holiday last year. um, let's see. Pasadena Tea Festival says, I aged tea and honey for a couple years. That is really creative. I really like that idea also. Travel Tea Archery says, I try to drink it at work. Yep, I've seen that strategy also. You kind of like, I mean, I want to hear why you do drink it at work and how it works for you, Travel Tea Archery. But I've heard people say that if you drink it at work, you kind of think of it a little bit less. We're always drinking at work, so that helps a lot. You don't got to think about it as much. And then let's see. Esther says, last week I just packed a small box full of teas and samples and sent it to a friend that lives in the woods with very few resources. How amazing it is to share with someone who'll appreciate it. Yes. I really like that also. That's also something I want to try is, yeah, you know, sometimes I get so stressed out with my stash that I'm like, can we just go like to Goodwill and just like leave it at the donation box? But especially the kinds of teas we have, like if you have like samples like this, right? Like the hell is Fruity Rogue for like the average consumer? I honestly don't think that it's a good idea for us to drop off our teas to like a Goodwill or like whatever it is. In America, Goodwill is like the donation kind of like you can donate things and they'll sell it for charity purposes in short. There are other ones too, like what Salvation Army and like local churches and schools that will do that. But I think tea is hard, you know? That's where I find it easy to donate clothes, but I feel bad for my loose leaf like Wu Yansha. How is that gonna survive in like a Goodwill drop-off box, right? So I think that doing a targeted donation, targeted gift, something I picked up from like listening to a decluttering podcast, to prep for the purge. They called it a targeted donation. And it's specifically knowing where your gift of that box of samples that you want to give away is going to go. Like know exactly who it is that's going to get it and what they're going to do with it. And I think that makes you feel better for knowing that your teas that you love so much would go to someone who would really appreciate it. They're not just going to waste away somewhere else again. And then the person who gets it really appreciates it, you know? And then you can still talk about the teas when they drink it later. So I really, really like that also. Gong Fu Ma says blending a few samples of Shangpo together. I even attempted to make a Dragon Ball with them. That is super cool and something I think I want to copy also. So yeah, I like that. I think that the craziest thing we did similar to that was when we pressed that pour No, it's not a pour. Sorry.
Dragon Ball cake.
It's a green tea cake that smells like pour. I think 2 years ago uh, we pressed 5 different samples from Verdant Tea. All these vendors that I'm dropping the names of for the purge, I hope they don't get mad, but I pressed 5 different samples of Dragon Well tea from Verdant Tea, and this is another purge situation. I'd bought the sampler set of Dragon Well, like Shifeng Wild, Longjing 43, the Chunti cultivar, like the native mixed cultivar, and like one more from Verdant, because I wanted to study Dragon Well, right? I had maybe like 1 or 2 good sessions with them. And then I had 40 grams of Dragon Well of every type to go into. So perfect, 200 grams. So we pressed about 200 grams of Dragon Well into a cake, like a shangpo cake. That video is still on our YouTube somewhere, or even here on Instagram. But it was fun, right, Kung Fu Ma? Like, it's fun to be able to, like, maybe break some rules a little bit. Like, do the stuff that you think that a tea farmer somewhere will scream if they find out about it, but it's fun, so it's okay. As long as it's done with like respect and with fun, right? And we absolutely did that. Absolutely did
And
that.
then we also sent them out. We didn't even drink them.
And then we also sent them out to friends to try. We kept one for ourselves because we didn't think we would drink all of it, you know? So yeah. Anyway, let us know if you guys are drinking anything today. Right now we're having this fruity Rogue from Kong Mountain. A tea that would have never, ever gotten brewed, I swear, if not for the purge. And yeah, let us know how you're doing. It's been a while, like some of you are saying. If you didn't catch at the beginning, this is our first session back. I hope we're doing okay. It's been so long. Oh my goodness. And yeah, I hope that you guys been okay. Yeah, it's been a ride, right? So the purge is happening, by the way, on the TQers Discord. Not a requirement to go, you know, and do the challenge there, but if you do want to focus more on the challenge and like trade notes with other people outside the scope of this live session, highly recommend it. The challenge has always helped me. I feel like I get super pumped when I get to be with other people who are doing the same thing as me, and people who are better than I am at doing it. Like I'm like, okay, why is this specific person really good at like managing their stash? Okay, let me do some things that they do, and then I can change it up a little bit. So the purge challenge is happening on the Discord. Optional but recommended. You can ask us for the invite if you would like. And then those of you who are on the Discord, there's about a week left for the challenge. Challenge ends on Halloween because we're cheesy like that. And I'm ahead. You guys usually know that I'm like pretty behind on my own challenges because I'm too busy managing them. I'm on 3 right now. 3 out of 5, yeah. I'm going. I'm so motivated by everyone and their capability of drinking down stuff. Like when I hear Esther say like I'm gonna gift this, gift a box of tea to like my friend and stuff. I want to do that. And like I've gotten some DMs from people being like, "Hey, like you got some extra tea? Like you want some help?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, totally." I don't know if they'll get spooked because they didn't know I'm serious, but I'm serious. I kind of want to find some tea people online who may not be at our stage yet. And I don't mean experience stage, but like stash stage to
Take it.
yeah, to try it. Yeah, and we're not gonna dump our bad teas on them. The old stale stuff, I'll deal with by myself. But I got some really nice teas that I just don't think we'll get to because you and I don't drink a lot of tea by volume. Steven and I use a high extraction water that we're developing, right now. And by high extraction, I mean like when we use tea, we get a lot of steeps out of our tea because we control our water. So that means sometimes we're drinking like 2 or 3 grams in a bowl or less, and like legitimately getting lots of steeps from them. So I'm like 3 grams a day or 5 grams a day times like 5 kilos of tea. It's gonna take us 1,000 days to drink all of our tea, plus whatever new stuff is coming in. It's, yeah, what do you do when like you love all the teas you have, but you just can't physically drink it fast enough? And I think that I'm leaning towards a direction of like, going out actively and finding people who want the tea and really truly curating it properly, the way that Esther did, you know, like really choose a tea that you're going to gift, choose who you're going to gift it to, put the intention in that, and like think ahead, like what can I do to make sure this person will use it also? And I'm thinking just some ideas. If I have a bunch of Taiwan samples, instead of sending out one Taiwan sample to everyone, I'm going to put all my Taiwan samples into a box and find someone who is learning about Taiwan tea and be like, hey, this is a specific box with Shanlin Shi, Ali Shan, Li Shan, you know, Mei Shan. I mean, like, Chi Lai, like, really do like a mountain sample set for them if you have those teas, you know? Or if you drink pu'er or something else, you know, whatever it is, and then give it to them so they'll actually use it, right? Um, because man, if it was me in 2010 before I had like the budget to buy tea, like if I was a high schooler, I'd be like stoked. Um, yeah. So any other ideas to like get this going? And what do you guys think about the idea of finding tea friends like offline or online and even like pooling some teas together to like send it out to them, right? And hopefully, because it is a targeted gift, a targeted donation, they will use it. That's the hope. And if not, then they can easily give it to someone else. It's so cool. So second steep of that rogue way. It's very tasty. Really, really good. Like
We never do 8 grams.
maybe we should do go back to doing 8 grams, yeah?
Nah.
Oh my gosh, Steven.
I like our 1 gram yancha sessions.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, let us know what teas you're drinking and what ideas, thoughts, you know, you might have about this stuff. And I appreciate, you know, that you guys are showing up today and able to talk about this stuff. I don't think it's easy. I think it's easier to just talk about what tea you're drinking today and a little bit more tricky to think about and share about the hard stuff, right? Like I am a tea person. I'm a mindful person. I do my best in my tea practice, but I still have excess tea. Coming to terms with that, and number one, not being too hard on yourself, and then number two, still taking action, I think is quite difficult. It's hard. It's really difficult. Yeah. So congrats to you if you're trying to take steps to like have less tea, give teas away to people mindfully, you know. Yeah. Gong Fu Ma says if you gift someone a tea, maybe add a challenge to the teas gifted to encourage them to drink it. That sounds fun. Yeah, I think it's gonna help them really focus in on drinking those teas down. Because at the end of the day, you don't want. I don't think anyone wants to waste tea. I think that's a big blocker for us, right? Um, I think on the challenge, Ben from Chashi Collective threw away like a Lei Cha sample, and I think all like a bunch of us like collectively gasped, like, how can you throw away tea? And I mean this in a great way, because if it's just not serving you, and this tea, he was like, I try to do this, and I used it for cooking, and I did all of it, and I just goodbye, like bye forever. And I was so stunned that he was able to do that because it's very difficult for me because I don't want to waste the tea. I feel bad, guilty. The tea maker put so much effort, etc. But you know, if it's time, it's time. Right? Travel tea archery. At work, you think less about the taste and at the same time appreciate it more. Plus, you don't have to prepare it so precisely and you don't have time for that. Yeah. Absolutely. I think I do drink a lot of tea at work, but I need to make sure not to gravitate to the teas that I always gravitate to at work because work can be stressful, right? So I tend to gravitate towards a tea that I have a lot of. And then it stresses me out a little bit to have to like break into a sample. But if I can just enjoy taking a sample to work and drinking it, even if I'm not focusing on it, I think that'll help me a lot. Um, yeah. Gabby says to Marie Kondo your tea. Much love to Marie Kondo. I really like her. I am not her. She is so organized, but I like a lot of her concepts. For those of you who don't know Marie Kondo, number one, wow, everyone's been into Marie Kondo. You're not, no one's ever obligated to be aware of pop culture, especially me and Steven. We don't know any movies. But anyway, Marie Kondo is the author of The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. And it's a wonderful book. It's, I think, a very different book from most decluttering kind of like organization books because I feel like a lot of the decluttering and organization books focus on like strategies, like, use bins for this and drawers for that, and put your clothes in a cloth bag because cloth bags will like be smaller. Um, and I really liked her because she gets to the bottom of what causes us to hold on to things. And I really think it's emotional, right? Like, we're not logically buying more tea when we already have tea. Like the cart that you have open right now, if you have one. I don't think I have one open right now. But if you have a cart open right now and you're here at the same time and trying to drink down teas, what is that emotional thing that's happening that's causing you to buy more tea? And it's valid. Life's hard. Tea is a treat yourself kind of situation, right? And then once it's here, how do you let it go? Um, so Marie Kondo is all about like, oh, keep us things that spark joy and like get rid of everything else that's not sparking joy. Um, I really like her. I think that one of the criticisms, not to say it's bad. Like I think Marie is doing a really good job, but something to be aware of is people are saying, okay, maybe it's not a great idea to just base it on spark joy because what if people just toss their stuff away and like you have excess decluttering and like mindless decluttering, you just throw things away. It can almost become consumerist after that. So that's danger. Like if we're doing the purge and you're trying to get rid of our teas, we do have to be careful not to just burn the whole place down and like throw away tea and like, again, that's why I don't donate tea to Goodwill. Like it's gonna get wasted, right? Let's be aware of that. Um, but I think we can handle, right? I think we can handle. I think that you and I know that you care about your teas and you want to be respectful with your teas and not have excess. So just bringing that to the forefront has helped for me a lot. The things that are buried in me, like, I want to have a clean tea stash. I want it to be organized. I want it to be full of the tea that I love. I don't want to get stressed out by the thing that I like. I don't like, I don't want to have the feeling of finding a tea from 2011. I don't want to. Because it makes me feel bad for myself. And it makes me feel ungrateful for the tea maker's efforts. I think it does a lot to just bring those things to light and kind of just play with them a little bit. Just poke it, play with it, laugh about it. Um, so yeah, I'm rambling a little bit, but I think that's where I'm at
Is
with
it a
that.
talkative tea?
It's a nice tea, yeah. So this Rogueway, what we like about it, it's. I mean, I'm curious to see what you think, but it's got a lot of body, really nice texture, very nice flavor, very whole, very little bitterness, really balanced. So thanks, Kong Mountain. And sorry for not drinking your sample until like I was purging teeth. um, Lava the Sheep says because they're Ghibli themed. Yep, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why I do this also, but I feel like I will buy tea if it's themed with something I'm really excited about. Like I used to have a collection of Lupicia tins because they were like seasonally themed. We all have our reasons, for sure. Hannah says, I haven't bought tea in a while. Maybe I should buy some tea? That's totally fair. I actually have that also. Like the feeling of having like a cart open and like picking the samples out and like, wow, I'm gonna learn something and it's new. Yeah, that is addictive, honestly. That's my word for myself is like that feeling of like, wow, new things I can learn, right? Um, I think are really, really affect us in terms of the purge. So, switching gears, I have a question for you now. Specifics. What are the teas specifically in your stash that you are trying to destash? Like specifically, okay? Um, Yeah, think about it. I have a lot. So I won't answer it yet, but what are the teas? Think about like the deepest corner of your tea cabinet. Think about your office, like your desk at work, if you have a desk at work. Think about anywhere where you might have a tea lying around that's just waiting for you. What is that tea? Think about what those are. Yeah, we have a lot. Yeah, Stephen, I want you to think about which ones you had before we started dating, because Stephen, very unfortunately, had to like adopt all of my tea, and that was a lot.
You had to adopt my tea.
I also had to adopt your tea, that's true. But
Fortunately for you.
Stephen is actually quite good at drinking down tea. I would say.
Yeah.
You're quite good. Your problem is, see, it's more fun to blame someone else. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Let's hear it. Come on.
Uh, so my problem is tiny samples, okay? My problem is tiny samples.
My problem is.
Your problem is when you like something, you're like floating leaves, baozong, 600 grams. So
I
you,
stock up.
you have like a fatty, like, he's got like a fatty pouch of the thing, you know? So he stocks up. So he doesn't have problems with tiny samples, and he does drink his tea. But this guy will buy like 600 grams of like the thing he likes, which.
How many teas from Floating Leaves that are sold out right now do I have? You're welcome.
Okay, so listen to this. I'm saying you buy a lot of tea in a different format than me. We actually don't buy that much tea. It's just our consumption is not that high, right? Because 600 grams, if you
I get a
use.
lot. I get a lot when I really like it.
But you really like a lot of teas from Floating Leaves. And Camellia
any vendor,
and
you know.
Denong tea and West China.
Then yeah, I mean,
So I'm not trying to rag on Steve. It's just funny because we have different
we can't get more jade leaves anymore, you know. So
Yeah, we can. See, that's a problem. Like, what's gonna happen if like
price.
Yeah, we can talk about this because this is
It's
true,
a
right?
factor.
Yeah, yeah. We'll talk about that. Like, how do you manage like pricing and stuff like this? Dilo Lencioni says, "What type of tea is your favorite for fall weather?" Yeah, the answer like this, I think, is really, really good. Roasted oolong. Really, really good. So if you have any oolongs, Riensha, pull them out. I think it's a really good time for us to drink those. Shopor also. Aged Sheng, I think, is perfect for fall. We have a friend that the Vegas folks are talking about in the chat. Kevin, who only purchases Yasishang, Dakshit oolong once a year. He's got a lot of discipline. Gabby says Wui oolongs and some heicha from tea swaps. Rachel says clouds and mist from 4 different vendors and did a taste test with people. The side by sides get me also. If I can get like a shui shan from like 5 different vendors and compare them for my own educational purposes, I love it and I'll do it. But what happens to the rest of the sample? I gotta deal with that. Gongfuma says organic chimen that tastes like nothing. Don't know what to do with it. Yeah, interesting. Maybe cook with it. Not sure. It's like a default, like, what do you do with the tea that you have extra of? Cook with it. It's harder. It's harder than, people make it out to be.
Make milk tea with that, right?
Oh yeah, make milk tea? That's fair. Do you have any friends that might want a chimen? Rachel says also teas from Tivana that I still haven't used up. I still have teas from Tivana. Esther says Chinese black teas. I bought so many over the years just to study them, but now so many of them are just okay. So I drink oolongs that I like more. Yeah. Do you guys also do that? You buy a tea to study it? That's my thing. Like, it's been a long time since I bought tea. I want to buy tea to study it. That's my pattern, to study something. Oof. That's me. You, though, you like to buy tea that you like.
I just buy what I like.
You buy what you like. So, this is the tricky part. What if, and it's true in the plural world and for oolong now, and for white tea, I would say, what if you have a tea you like, for example, from Floating Leaves, or from West China, or from White to Tea, or from wherever you buy, your favorites. What if you like it, and it's not going to be there forever? Sometimes because the vendor says, like Denong will say, buy this tea now because the price will go up next year. Um, yeah. And what if it's not gonna be there anymore? Are you okay not having more of that tea? Ah, so Steven is you are such an enabler. So right now I'm looking at the screen where like Steven is helping me manage the stream. This is how we're managing to have like all our fancy like camera stuff like to play around with. And this boy is like pulling up poor websites and showing me stuff sold out. Fam. Right?
It's sad.
But that's the thing. If you are able to drink down the teas that you don't like, I think I would have more confidence to buy the teas that we do like. That's a problem because he was showing me the Yue Shangpo from Zhongwang. Beautiful tea, amazing. Feels like a symphony, like a tea that moves you, right? The specific tea is not important, but you know those teas that move you and you want to have more of them. I think by doing the purge of all the other shit you have, you will not feel so guilty investing into that tea that you do like. I'm not ready for it because we have so much extra tea. But once we do, I think we can just make more space for the teas that we really, really like, and do it consciously, right? So, yeah. Um, Jeffrey is here, which is perfect, talking about, investing into teas we like. um, I admire you, Jeffrey, because it seems like you only buy teas you like now. Hannah says buy a large amount and then save it and not drink it for years. Yeah. I kind of want to get to that point, you know? Yeah. So, yeah. Any other teas that you guys have at the back of your cupboard? I'm going to tell you mine now. I got some stash tea I'm looking at right now. And I'm like, why do I have stash tea? I bought that. No one even gifted that to me. I bought that stash tea. Stash tea meaning like the tea bags that you get at like conferences, conference halls. Sure, yeah, like crappy tea bag tea. I bought that for educational purposes. Like I host tea workshops, right? So like I will buy a tea to show like people at a tea 101, like what the difference is between a loose leaf tea and then the inside of like a tea bag. But I don't need 20 tea bags. So I've had this for like 3 years now. God, what am I gonna do with you guys? What am I gonna do with this? And it takes up space. Look at how much space it's taking up. In like
and top shelf of the closet too.
Top shelf of the closet. Yeah, so we're
out of sight, out of mind, right?
Right.
So we're not gonna drink it.
Right. This thing is taking up mental space and it's important. So how do I deal with that? And this is a question. I don't have all the answers, right? I need this for showing people what good tea is. But maybe can I make just like a little Ziploc bag? Yeah, there we go. Like a Ziploc bag of like a couple of these. And like the rest of the other shit I have in my educational box. Like celestial seasoning stuff. I got some like Lipton, I think. I have like Prince of Peace, Dragon, whatever stuff. Instead of having so many boxes like this, think, how many workshops am I going to host?
Right.
5? Do I need 5? And then like, if I go to like a hotel somewhere, I'll just grab some the next time and to put in a Ziploc bag and then don't keep the whole friggin' thing, you know? And then what do I do with the rest of it? That's another problem too, you know? Like, what do I do with the rest? If I keep this, troubleshoot with me. If I keep this in a Ziploc bag, if I keep this in a Ziploc bag for our educational actual work, right? I need it. I do need it. Am I being honest? Yes, we need it, right? What to do with the rest of it, you know, without having to toss it out, right? English breakfast. God, it's like, this is like very high difficulty. When am I gonna drink this stuff? So what I mean is, this is hard, you know? Like, it's very difficult to de-stash tea. So don't beat yourself up. And also, let's help me. Help me figure out. Yeah. Jeffrey says, I had to buy a lot we didn't like to finally understand less is more. Yeah, Jeffrey, what did you do with the puers that you didn't like anymore? I'm so curious. Because I have so many teas from the beginning of my tea journey. Some of you said this, right? From when you're starting to learn about tea. So many teas I will never touch again. What do you do with those? You know? Because I think your tastes change faster than you drink down the teas you like and don't like. Gosh. Yeah. Pasadena Tea Festival says it's tea tuition. Yeah, I don't mind paying tea tuition either. Like, I think it's totally okay to buy tea you don't like or that you don't need anymore. But now I'm like, what do you do with it afterwards? You know? Hannah says I composted some really old tea bag teas one time. That's awesome. Do you have a compost, Hannah? Because
Can we give our
we'll
compostable
hit
teas
you
to Hannah?
up. There's a website I found called sharewaste.com, and I think it's a website that will allow you to find a composting facility in your area or a composting person in your area. So I'm very new to composting, but composting you can't just like toss the tea into like a pile and like expect it
Let
to
it go
like
away.
decompose. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna be very productive. So especially if you live in like an area like we do, where things don't necessarily decompose. We're here in Las Vegas. But sharewaste.com, I haven't used it yet, but I think I will. I actually will for the purge. I want to take the tea that I really don't want anymore, like the stuff I'm really never going to use, and you can find someone in your area who is doing a worm compost or feeding the chickens or like something. So you can actually put your compost in someone's compost that needs that extra stuff, you know? So I'm going to do that. Like, basically, just to wrap it up, to start wrapping it up, we have a stash. We have too much tea that we don't like. We need to get rid of them. I think we can do this. You know, I think we can push. Don't wait for your teas to get rid of themselves. You have to go do it. Be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. I beat myself up. That's why I'm saying don't beat yourself up. It's not going to help. Have fun with it. So, you know, and then actually think which teas am I going to gift? What am I going to drink? If you have to, like, do a mental calculation about how much tea you have in your stash. This can be difficult because I think we have like kilos and kilos of tea. And if you do a calculation like 3 grams a day, 3 kilos, that's 1,000 days of tea. Plus I have that order coming in. Plus I have Christmas. And plus I have like, I want to do this group buy. It is a lot, but just for a second, you know, don't blame yourself, but just do like a mental calculation about how much tea you have and what are you gonna do with it? You gonna drink it? What, you know? And then the rest of it that you'll never drink, really just compost it. Because I feel too guilty to throw away tea. I don't like it.
Or teas that are like too bad to even gift to
Yeah,
our friends.
teas that
Yeah.
are really, really bad. I think that, yeah, I think that it'll be fine, you know, and ask someone who composts for help, you know, like Hannah. If you regularly water the compost and mix it up, it will eventually compost. So there you go. Composting is quite tricky, I would say. You know, it's one of those things that you think is very easy, but it's actually quite difficult to do. So yeah, like ask someone who knows and like reach out for help. And yeah, they're not gonna mind. And if they do mind, then that's their problem. So that's what my game plan is as we wrap up. Think about what your game plan is. I have a lot of tea. I think I have enough tea for us to drink tea for the next 10 years. It's too much. So my problem teas are my samples, teas from when I started to drink tea from 2010 or 11, including Tivana tea, including like old ass samples, like Lupicia tea, flavored like I still have some like peach, like cherry, something, whatever teas. Those are my problems. And then we also have bulk teas that we thought we liked, but we don't like anymore. It's kind of tricky to know what to do about that. Those are our problem teas. And then, oh, sentimental teas, emotional teas, teas from a friend that you don't want to let go. So identify what your problem teas are and then figure out what you're doing with them. Uh, if you want to use them up, are you truly going to cook with them? Like, really ask yourself, because I've done this before where I put tea in the kitchen to be like, I will cook with this tea. And I only cook with it during green tea drink down and the purge, right? I don't cook with it afterwards. Could I change my pattern? Maybe. But like, yeah, just really be honest and have fun with it and don't worry about it too much. And then we'll get it going. Yeah. And then one more thing, I think I really will try to find more people that we can kind of like target gift these teas to. Maybe new tea drinkers, especially like people in high school or college or who don't have like a big budget. who want to learn about tea, get tea, and then maybe we can even make relationships with these people. Like I think a lot of you are interested in like helping other people learn about tea, and I think that's really powerful. I really want you to do that. So if you're someone who wants to help other people learn about tea, use your stash, the good stuff in your stash, and gift it to someone and get them drinking the tea with you in some way. I think was it Gongfuma that said, make it a challenge for them, like, because you are their tea teachers now. Like, you may not feel like you know a lot, but you are the resident tea expert in your group. So if you have some extra tea that's not important to you anymore, um, you liked it at one point, right? A beginner will probably really appreciate a lot of the stuff that you don't like. And if,
Even if they don't, it's a learning
like, I
experience.
grapple with it because I feel guilty gifting teas that I don't like because it's almost like I'm offending the other person. But everyone has a different journey. If you do it with a good intention and you want to teach them, especially if it's a tea that gave you happiness at one point, I think it's totally worth it, you know? Um, all of these things right now that I'm seeing, honestly, are a lot of talk, and I haven't done these things, but I want to commit to like really looking out, trying to look for people who need more tea, building a relationship with them, making myself feel better, and then buying the teas only that I want and like. So we'll do that. I can think of people already that I want to like have over for tea, gift them tea. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. So yeah, I think that's it for this live. Thank you for joining us. It's been so fun. I hope this went okay. Let me know if, have we lost like our touch or what should we do next week? But I'm having so much fun being back. We really appreciate you guys and your patience with us and your tea journey and being so open to share your ideas with us. Um, yeah. Please let me know how your purging journey goes. I am still a big, student in terms of all of this. We all have our expertise areas. Even if you think it's not something that might be interesting to me, you really don't know what someone might learn from what you have to say. So, yeah, let me know how it goes. And yeah, we will try to make this happen again next week, maybe? Can we do that? Yeah, let us know. We're just, trying it out again, but we miss our lives. And I think that's pretty much it for now, yeah? So thank you again so much for joining us. I will let you guys go for now. Goodbye for now, and have a wonderful week. Yeah, happy drinking, happy purging. Yeah. Bye.